Good evening, class. My name is Travis, and in this week's video, we are going to explore the key components of communication management. During the video, we'll talk about important techniques, some of the do's and don'ts of communication, as well as why a well-structured communication plan is vital for the success of a project or a team. As we spoke about last week, communication is the cornerstone that any team or project is built upon. Effective communication ensures that everyone involved is rowing their boat in the same direction, so to speak, that they understand their roles, they're aware of any potential risks, and that they can communicate those risks to everyone else, including key stakeholders. Some key communication techniques and methods for project managers to master are active listening, which last week we talked about. That's when you are communicating to understand. You're listening to understand, not waiting for a chance to respond. It involves asking clarifying questions, paraphrasing to ensure understanding, and giving your full attention to the speaker. Using clear and concise language that avoids jargon, which might confuse stakeholders. Developing regular feedback loops, which encourage feedback from stakeholders, helps identify project problems early on. Choosing the right communication channel. That's the right channel for your group, your team, and your project. It can be instant messaging, maybe email, but it can lead to problems if you're choosing the wrong form of communication channel for some things. We talked about it last week, how sometimes when you're communicating about like maybe something that somebody's doing wrong, you might not want to do that in a public setting. Whereas if you are publicly praising somebody, that's the perfect opportunity to give praise. But yeah, the right communication channel really has a huge effect, and project managers need to become experts in it, as well as the use of visual aids to enhance complex information and make it easier for all stakeholders to digest. Some of the do's and don'ts of communication with teams and stakeholders. Some of the do's are to be transparent and open about project challenges and skill risks. Be respectful of different perspectives and opinions. Be consistent in your communication style and messaging, as well as in actively engaging your stakeholders to involve them in decision making. This will build agency for them and create a network of trust with them. It's going to garnish buy-in. Some of the don'ts. Number one don't, do not make a promise that you don't intend to keep or that you cannot keep. Don't withhold information or avoid sharing bad news. It never gets better with time. If you have it, resist the urge to micromanage or over-communicate. Often over-communication leads to information overload and more confusion than it actually solves. And then avoid, again, using jargon or technical language excessively. Some of the major components of the communication plan are the communication objectives, which will give the specific goals and outcomes of the communication plan. Your target audience identifies who needs to receive the information and what their needs are for communication. Your communication channels, again, that's going to be your appropriate methods for delivering your information to the appropriate groups. Your message content, developing clear, concise, and relevant messages to your teams and stakeholders. Communication timeline, establish what your schedule is for your communication plan. Your communication roles and responsibilities so that each person in the plan understands what they're responsible for. And then your feedback mechanism. This is a critical part to ensure that the process is working, and it gives a way for you to receive and respond to feedback so that your stakeholders and your team feels listened to and heard. Why is the communication plan vital? Well, I think a lot of the things we covered explain that, but a communication plan ensures everyone involved has access to the information they need at the appropriate time. It helps align your stakeholders' expectations. It can prevent misunderstandings and reduce the amount of conflict a project has overall. It also allows for you to identify and address potential problems before they become major problems, hopefully. Promotes collaboration and teamwork, as well as increases the transparency of your project, which will overall increase your trust. When we talk about who the most important person or group on the communication team is, again, when we're talking about superlatives like what's the most, what's the best, it really is defined by the project and the people you have on it. However, generally speaking, the project manager is going to be one of the most critical people or group on the communication team. They're responsible for overseeing the entire communication process, ensuring the plan's implemented and that it is effective. They're responsible to ensure everyone receives the necessary information, and they then act as a central hub for the information and facilitate communication between stakeholders and team members. Effective communication overall is essential for the success of any project. A well-structured communication plan combined with active listening, clear communication, and regular feedback loops can help teams navigate challenges and achieve their goals while building a strong relationship with their stakeholders. Some of the references I used for this were The Art of Communication and Project Management by Rupmar. It was presented at the PMI Research Conference. And then the Jennifer Witt videos that the professor posted would be the How to Be a Great Leader in Project Management and Your First Step as a Project Manager. I look forward to your responses and to speaking with you all about this throughout the rest of the week. I thank you for your time. Have a great evening.